what do I really want for myself?
Because you brought things to the table that I never thought that I could get out of a relationship.
We keep it real over here.
Yeah. What do you believe the purpose of marriage is? Welcome to Pillow Talk, ladies and gentlemen.
With the
Winstons. Hey.
Welcome to Pillow Talk, ladies and gentlemen, episode 7. Wow. I know we did not think we would be doing episode 7.
Mama, we made it.
Mama, we made it.
Episode 7.
To episode 7. So, while we set the room, as we say, in Clubhouse, I wanted to make sure that if you are joining us live, we want to make sure that you guys are on. So, if you are on, check us out. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. And, yeah, I just wanted to share on my Facebook.
So tonight, episode 7, we are talking about Dateable.
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 So the definition of dateable is being available to date at a specific time, in being ready. So tonight we're gonna talk about being ready.
Yeah, I'm excited about this episode. We are definitely not dateable.
I was just about to say. So let's talk about
this current situation.
Yeah, we are not dating or dateable. However, we have experienced what it's like to date, and we have experienced, the highs and the lows. So yeah.
Well, we have. So we wanted to share, especially for people that are, going through this phase of finding their person, and they're right now on the dating scene or the dating pool, like you say.
Yeah, I say the dating pool, but my wife was like,
"That's so old school."
That's
like,
so old school.
Who
baby.
says dating pool?
Who says dating pool? And I was like, it's just a term.
Who says dating pool? I just want to know. If you use the term dating pool.
Because to me, it is a pool. Because there is what we call, there is like a set amount of people who are just dating.
I mean, and I get that, and I understand the term, but I'm just like, who says that? But anyway, we're not going to get
we're not going to
get caught up on that.
No.
But the point of us doing this episode tonight on dating and being dateable,
yes,
is because there was a transition that we both experienced in different ways, from being single to then being exclusive in a relationship.
Yes.
And so we wanted to talk to that and to the folks that are now experiencing that. Because we want to know also from you what that is like. Because I would not want to be in the dating pool right now.
And more importantly, I want to know, like, not that I want to know what the grass looks like on that side, but how is it like dating right now? Like, what is what is it like dating in this world today, 2022?
Yeah.
Post-pandemic.
Coming out of a pandemic.
Like, yeah, that's different.
What is that like?
Yeah, what is that truly like? So, before we get into the fact checks about the dating, I want to talk to you guys about my journey in dating. So, my journey in dating was
We're not doing fact checks?
Oh, Lord.
Listen, he is ready to tell y'all how he snatched this woman sitting here.
Yeah, you know what? No, let's do fact checks first. Let's do fact checks first, and then we'll jump into the dating game or the dating scene or the dating pool. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we do any of that, I got to make sure I do my AKAs. I forgot all about that.
We didn't even do the AKAs.
Wow.
Because I guess we just, we were ready to
I know, we were ready to jump in.
Jump into the topic.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, introducing to my left, who is always on my right, who is always on my, in behind me, in front of me, in the left, right, all of that.
All that.
My best friend, the love of my life, my soulmate. They call her Miss Fit, but I call her Miss Thick. I call her Miss Everything.
I am not thick, but thank you.
She act like she ain't thick. Like,
You know
really?
what? Stop.
Okay, whatever. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, come to the stage. Give it up for my boo, the love of my life, my wife, Delana Winston.
Thank you for that introduction.
I had to do that.
Yes. So every episode we give our AKAs, we introduce, each other, our co-hosts. And
Yep.
so, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for my baby, my boo, my husband, Chef Kev, Kevin Winston. It's your fine self.
Thank you, babe. I love you.
I love you.
She's such a charm.
Sometimes you got to be the hype woman. You know, you got to hype your.
Always my.
You got to
hype
hype your man.
She hypes me. I love it. It keeps me going. It keeps me like, oh, okay, I'm on my toes now. I gotta step it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's jump into Misfits Fact Checks.
I love that every time.
Every time.
So, guys, if you're watching us on live, it is Wine Down Wednesday for us. So grab your glass of wine and cheers. Cheers to you. But so I found some very interesting facts on dating, and it was like, wow, okay. It's a lot of, I love my little stats. I love my data. I love to pull up the research and see like what others are saying about dating. So
it's good to see that though, actually.
Yeah, and so my first fact says, according to the U.S. Census, there are 95.9 million unmarried people in the U.S.
Oh, wow. Say that number again.
95.9 million. So, almost 96 million people are not married. They're single.
Wow.
I mean, so they may be in relationships, but they're just not married.
Right.
45% of those people are men, and 53% are women.
Wow.
That's a lot of people.
It is. That is.
So I feel like Datable speaks to a lot of people out here that are single, and they might be trying to find their person.
That's true.
The next fact that I thought was very interesting is that 33% of online daters form a relationship, 33% don't, and 33% give up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for people who are trying to find their person online, there are 33% that don't, and there are 33% that give up.
Wow.
So people are.
So there's a third of people who are just left out of that whole equation.
Yeah. So I guess that means they either find someone. Yeah.
Got it.
So my last fact, because I'm bringing the facts for you tonight, is that people who do actually date and they decide to become a couple, they wait 6 to 8 dates before they are willing to enter in an exclusive relationship. So between 6 and 8 dates.
Wow, and that's 92%.
Yes.
Of single parent. Oh, okay. Of single parents.
No.
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 Couples. Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah. No, you're on something else.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Get off my screen. Yeah, so that makes me think about like how many dates we went on before we decided to be exclusive. Because I can't keep up with the count.
So that's a beautiful segue into what I was going to discuss about my journey.
Yeah.
So I'll start like how, some movies, they start like present and then they go back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll start from the present of when we got to our first date, December 28th.
Yeah.
2018.
2018. Mm-hmm.
And I believe that was the first official date because we were able to like really talk, connect, and just kind of go deep into who I was and who you were.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was like that wasn't the breaking point, but that was the moment that made me feel a little bit more confident.
Okay.
For me. I think for you, it was more like it made you feel a little bit more comfortable, but you wasn't 100% sold.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, it
I
was a
think-
filling out session.
Yeah, exactly. The first date was just me going to just get to know you.
Yeah, and you already had a lot of data
Mm-hmm.
and history about my baggage.
I did.
So I had no idea, but the questions you were asking were based on things that you have heard or based on things that you know, that kind of like, just raise questions. So you was like, let me talk about these things.
So with that being said, like how were you feeling going into the date?
So going into the date, I felt a little apprehensive because I didn't know. I didn't know any of the things that you told me as time went on.
So you didn't know exactly what I knew about you.
No, but I knew you knew something.
Okay, well let's talk about it.
Yeah. So
Let's talk about what that was. Oh, I'm not trying to rush your story.
no. So the things that you knew was like, yes, I was coming out of a divorce. I was not 100% fully divorced, but I filed divorce. I was separated. I was pretty much like, it was done. Everything was done, but I was still coming through the process of healing.
So you were going through a separation.
I was going through the separation process.
Right, but that's pretty much, that's
Yeah.
what you call it when you're, leaving.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going through the
You're leaving a
separation.
marriage and
Yeah.
yes.
The
okay.
separation process, but the separation process, led me to, filing the divorce papers. So I was still waiting for the courts and, just going through the the challenges of understanding what divorce looked like, because that was my first time.
Mm-hmm.
You got to remember, like, so my parents have not been together, but they have not been divorced. So I never knew what divorce looked like.
Mm-hmm.
I knew what separation and just not being together looked like, and dysfunction or whatever you would call it. But divorce was just different. So I was going through a mourning period, and now I'm segueing into my before I met you.
Right.
So during my dating time, I was going through a mourning of my old self, not having my own home, not having my own this, not having my own that, and trying to reclaim who it is that I was supposed to become.
Mm-hmm.
During that process, I lost myself because I was dating not on purpose, but I was dating for fun. I was empty. I was dating empty situations. Like, I knew they wasn't going to lead to nothing, but that's not to say I didn't want it to. It was just, I was dating to just, for fun. So I was dating all these different women and going on, taking them out to eat. And I thought that was like my calling, like to just court a woman and just treat them right.
So, okay. So did you feel like at that point you were actually really ready to date? Like, what was the purpose of you going on these dates? Was it just because you really wanted to meet someone? Did you know that you wanted to find a person to be with, or was it just, were you just out there having fun?
So the weirdest part was, I remember a friend of mine, my bro asked me, he was like, so are you dating to get to a place of marriage, or do you want to be married again? Like, is that what you want to do? And I remember I couldn't answer it, but I remember saying that I don't want to be doing life by myself. I don't want to do it in isolation.
Mm-hmm.
So I think my purpose of dating was not, I didn't know what the purpose was at that time. I think I was trying to figure it out.
Mm.
So while I was out there, I was still kind of doing my own thing. I did a little bit of therapy, but I don't think I really was committed to the therapy. I think I was just kind of taking in some information, but I wasn't necessarily like fully invested.
Mm-hmm.
So-
You weren't applying it.
No, I wasn't applying it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was trying to find someone to meet an empty space in my life that was a void.
Wow.
So I wasn't dating on purpose. I was just dating.
Yeah.
So I think that was more or less just where I went. So segue entire 2018-ish, 2017-ish, segue and fast forward all the way to end of 2018. And when me and you started really dating and we got really close, there was one date that in particular I feel like was a turning point, and that was when we went on our hike. That was the turning point for me.
Okay.
Because I seen a different look in your eye. You was very intrigued, and you was very much like you just seemed extremely interested. And, we talked about the journey on the hike and all the things I had to do. I became the journeyman on the hike, the compass, and all those things. So
I definitely feel like I saw you in a different light when we went on the date, when we did the hike, because I felt like I saw you like in your element being a leader. Because we literally got
I was literally
lost.
thinking about that.
It was cold and pouring down raining. And
Crowder's Mountain.
In Crowder's Mountain, and we literally got lost.
Yep.
And could not find our way back, and then we just like started freaking out.
For sure. And it what's crazy is usually in those moments I'm the freaker out. I'm the one who's kind of like, what do we do? Oh my God, what's happening? But I think in that moment, I was more or less like, dang, do I just step up and do I become that person that's like, this is where we going, this is what's next, so yeah, it's it was the moment that I stepped up. I was like, yeah, this is me stepping up, being the person in that moment.
And you did that.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I said, I saw you in a different element.
I became the compass.
You did. And you got us up out of there. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah, I was the compass. I was like, all right, so I gotta step up. So I think that was that piqued your interest, but it also piqued your curiosity
for sure. And I was just like, he's the type of person that can take charge, who can, just like perform under pressure. And I was like, ooh, okay.
It did that for you?
Yeah, it did that for me.
All right, okay.
Yeah, I like that. I did.
I love it.
I don't think that was the turning point, and I'll talk about what that was for me. But yes, I definitely saw you in a different light and was like, okay, he has potential.
Yeah, I want to know your turning point. So what was your turn? No, I'm not going to ask that. Let's talk about your journey.
Well, did you finish talking about yours?
Yeah, so my journey from 2017, 2018 summer all the way to the end of 2018, going into the time when we went on the date on the hike in 2019, was my dating journey. It was simply like 8 to 10, I would say like maybe 12 months.
So that is when you felt like for sure, like after that date, you were not interested in dating other people. You wanted to pursue and get to know me more.
Because on New Year's Eve in 2018, I had the opportunity. I went out. I had fun. I was wilding out. I got drunk.
And that was after our first date.
That was after our first date.
Yeah.
I passed out, and I woke up on New Year's Day, and I remember texting you because I cooked a whole bunch of food, and I was like, hey, won't you come through, blah, blah, blah. And you was like, nah, I'm not. In that moment, I'm not going to lie, it made me realize, like, I got to get my shit together. I got to focus on, like, what I really want to do. And even though I didn't call you that night and say Happy New Year, I was just right.
I mean, we had gone on one date, so.
Yeah. So I didn't think about, like, maybe you had something to do. I don't know. I think I was just more like, let me just get my shit together. Let me just focus on what that looks like.
Yeah.
And I think that's when I was like, okay, it's time. It's absolutely time. So, yeah, that's my journey.
Yeah, yeah. So for, I guess, men or women, but in particularly men who may be coming out of that situation and, they're in the dating scene and they're trying to figure out how to navigate that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if do men usually like start dating that soon or that quickly?
So I
know they date sooner than most women do. I
think men, we get over stuff faster. So I would have to agree and say, yeah, we do move pretty fast. I am a serial monogamous, so I enjoyed that. Having someone. So I think I was ready quicker than a lot of other people probably would have been.
Yeah.
So that's just me. But, yeah.
Well, hey, that's your story.
Hey, I'm just saying that was me. I was ready
Mm-hmm.
because I knew for a fact that having a wife, being married before, the benefits of marriage is extremely rewarding. And it's very much more rewarding when you're with the right one.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in my mind, I was just like, I prayed, I asked God, I was like, he doesn't send me people or women who are not good for me. He sends me people who are usually good for me, and I'm usually not good for them.
So he sent you multiple people that were good for you.
I would say, yeah. I mean, just being honest, God always has a way of giving me favor.
Yeah.
So yeah, God has sent me several people, but with you, it was just like the timing. And it was something that was just like, I didn't know I was ready. But God was like, look, man, I need you to trust me. And then when you was willing to take a chance, I think that's when I was willing to just kind of like, take it to the next level.
Yeah.
I was going faster, but go ahead, babe.
You definitely were. Absolutely. So for me, before we start dating and before you reach out to me and said, hey, I want to take you out on a date, I was coming out of, 2 years out of a serious relationship.
Okay.
Where I had dated someone for right around 2 years. And I feel like that relationship was a big hit for me because it was, it was a lot of disappointment.
Yeah.
That I felt coming out of it because, I really wanted to make it work. I was in my late 30s, and I had been in the dating scene. And so I found a person who I was hoping was going to be more than what it was, my goal was to get married. So at that point, when I met that person, I was dating
on purpose, yeah.
Thinking that this would lead to me getting married. It's just like, okay, I'm getting older.
Yeah.
I was a single mom.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, I'm kind of ready to settle down. And so when that didn't happen, when I thought it would, I kind of was just like, I'm giving up on the whole dating thing and, looking for someone that's going to be my forever.
Yeah.
And I just focused on me.
And how old were you around that time when you?
So I was 30. I think I was 32. No,
Okay.
I was like 30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was 30 years old because I remember turning 30. Yeah, so I was 30. I was well into my career, just focusing on being a mom.
Mm-hmm.
And so coming out that relationship, yeah, it was just, I'm not going to find my person. So I would date like just for fun, like socially.
Yeah.
But it was never like me thinking, oh, this is going to turn into something that's serious.
True.
Because I wasn't even, and I would let that be known. So if we're going out on a date, it's just like, no, I'm busy. I'm not available. I'll go out with you when I'm available, but I'm a single mother. So my child comes first.
You definitely let me know that too.
Yeah. I was like, my child comes first. Like when I'm available, I will go out on a date. But if I'm not, like I'll holler at you when I am.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my
pretty
approach.
hardcore.
Yeah. And for 2 years, like I just spent a lot of time just, just searching for, who I was and getting to know me.
You were starting over.
Yeah, I was starting over. I was. You're right.
Yep.
And also mourning the loss of that relationship that I was in.
Yeah.
So then when I met you, segue into that, and we went on our first date, I definitely went into it just thinking, oh, I'm just going out having fun. This is just like a social thing,
Right.
I'm going to talk.
Because you almost canceled on me. You was like, did you want to get a rain check? I'm like, what the fuck you mean a rain check? I've been waiting for you to call me until 9 o'clock. And you going to text me and be like, do you want to get a rain check? I'm like,
Well, so this is what
rain
happened.
check.
Like I was hanging out with some of my coworkers. Like we would get together, and that's kind of what I did. Like work was just my life.
Yeah.
At work, I hung out with my coworkers, and so when you invited me, like I was hanging out with them, and I think I was just kind of running late. So I was like, I'm about to leave. Are you, you still good? Is this still a good
Yeah.
time? And you were just like, well, I was just about to get something to eat.
Yeah, because I went to Nico's because I was like waiting for you, and you were like, I'll be there at 9. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to get something to eat first. I was turning up, having fun, taking a couple shots. I was like,
Yeah. So when you were just like, well, I'm eating, I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'll just go home.
you was good. You was
I was
ready
like,
to
I'll
leave.
go home. So if you want to rain check, we can rain check and do it another time.
Listen, I got a check so fast. I was like, bartender, can I get that check, please? I was like, no, I'm on my way. I was like, I'm valeting right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, it did happen. And so when we
Yeah.
met up and you and I talked and we had conversation, it was just like, okay, like I connected with you.
Yeah, you did.
So it was really good. And I think we went out on a couple of more dates after that. But I feel like the turning point for me was when we went out. So that was December.
December 28th, yep.
When we went out for Valentine's in February.
Oh, yes, I
Yeah.
remember.
So I think I was just having a really bad day or a really bad week. And I was having a lot of problems with my child at the time because he was just going through like a rebellious stage. And I think he was like just going to middle school.
Meanwhile, guys, this is my first time hearing about these issues were going on. So
No, I was,
Yeah.
no, because something, I don't remember exactly what happened.
Oh,
But I
yes,
just
you were
remember
telling
being
me
at
about it.
dinner and we were talking.
and you started crying.
And I never cry. I'm
Yeah.
not an emotional
Yeah.
person. I do not cry.
Yep.
And that night, I felt like I could be vulnerable with you. That like I could be like safe with you. And so I literally cried that night, like
And you was
just telling you
yeah.
what I was going through in that moment. And you were just like, you comforted me. You just told me that I was a great mom.
Yep.
You're just like, I'm here for you. I got your
Yes.
back.
Yes, yes.
And that was a turning point for me. That's when I knew
yeah.
this was different.
Yeah. Cause I just seen I seen the different side of you than you seen in yourself. So in that moment I was just like, yeah, no, you're not what you think. You are actually more.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to, let you know that you're doing a great job. And yeah, that was a great moment.
Yeah, because I think for moms, like number one is it is extremely difficult to date
Yeah.
and try to get to know someone because your time is limited when you have children.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I feel like you coming into the picture and like knowing that and just being understanding and you were like extremely patient.
And I had 2 sons too. So in my mind, I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, why not? And in my mind, I wanted to make sure I gained the trust of Keon and gain the trust of your son. Cause I wanted to be like, I didn't want to come in and be super dad, but I wanted to come in and be like, I want to gain his trust. I want to gain his respect.
Yeah.
So that meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
So-
Well, it meant a whole lot to me to feel like I could, depend on you to support me in that moment and be vulnerable because that's not something that's easy for me to do.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
Like
a
to
strong
be
woman.
vulnerable and to trust someone else and to just like, tell you my inner deep feelings. So
Yeah.
for me to be able to do that with you and I don't know, from December to February, just in a few months, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
we got something here. And I think that's kind of when we really said that we were kind of exclusive, like around that time.
Yeah. And I think even during that time, you were trying to, let me know, like, hey, this is going a little fast.
Yeah,
I want
for
to take
sure.
a break.
I was like,
I was like, I don't want no break.
I was like, we need to slow this pony down.
I was like, I don't want no break. I want to go full fledged. So if you're just tuning in, I want you guys to know we are talking about Dateable. And Dateable is the definition of being ready to date. That's essentially what it is. It's being ready to date. So if you're dating and you are in the scene right now, we're gonna segue and talk about you know, what it looks like to enter the dating scene. Like let's go into entering the
Well, we
dating
kind
scene.
of talked about that from our perspective.
Yeah, from our perspectives, yes.
But I think I guess like dating with purpose. So
Yes.
for people who are like deciding to date, like, I think you need to be clear on why it is that
Why
you're
are you
dating.
dating?
Like, what's the
Yes.
purpose? Because when you're sitting down with someone, I think you need to let your expectations be clear and let people know like what you want out of this situation.
That's true. So
Yeah.
So dating with purpose is understanding where you are. Where are you in the dating world? In the
Yeah.
dating scene. So are you 30? Are you 40? Are you 50?
Yeah.
If you're in your 30s, you have a totally different perspective. You're just coming out of your 20s. You don't necessarily focus on compatibility and the pre-screening.
That's
However,
true. Yeah.
when you're 40, your pre-screening and compatibility is on like
It's very slim.
your senses are very high.
Well, yeah. It's very
You're
high.
like, wait a minute, is this compatible? And you have a lower patience. Now,
yeah, you're like, I'm not putting up with this. Like,
now, we both have a big sister who is dating in her 50s. Shout out to you, Miss Patty.
hi, Patty, if you're watching, because I can't tell.
If Patty is watching, say what's up in the chat. I don't know if you're on Facebook or Instagram. I'm sorry, or YouTube, but just say hello. But if you're dating in your 50s, you have a totally different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And your perspective is, I ain't got time. I don't have no time on this one.
Move your fingers.
Sorry. I'm trying to mute something. Yeah, I don't have no time for games. I don't have no time to be doing none of that. So know where you are.
Well, and I think also at that age, you know what you want.
Yeah, I love that.
You know what you definitely know what you don't want.
True.
But I think by that age, you have enough experience in relationships to know what it is that you want at this point.
True. And I think the things that you have to identify, if you're dating in your 50s and you're dating at the age where you have to, you're doing this for the first time, what I want you to do is realize, like, try to identify like your attachment styles, identify the things that make you click. What's your triggers? Be a complete person, not be perfect, but be complete. Because at that age, you're more focused on like, I have a zero tolerance. So you're gonna attract someone who is, on your level.
Yeah. And I think also have an idea of what it is that you want. I mean, you might not know exactly, because sometimes that comes with experience in dating different people. Like in those relationships, you figure out what you want and what you don't want. But I think it's important to have an idea of the qualities that you want in your person when you're dating with purpose.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
it's so funny because I literally found like,
oh yeah, talk about that.
in a journal, I took a picture of it and I was going through my phone, like getting rid of like old pictures and videos and things like that. And I found a list that I made of the 10 qualities that I wanted in my husband, like 1 through 10.
That's good.
So, and that was in 2016. So I think I was 30. And like I said, I was, just ready to settle down, like God, like praying, like, God, these are the things that I want in my husband.
Yeah.
So I found that list the other day and I went through the list and I was like,
Tell them about the list.
wow.
What's on the list?
Well, I have
Can
to
you
pull it
remember?
up. Well, I know the number one thing that I put on the list was a relationship with God.
Okay.
And that's just something that's a no-brainer. It's very important to me because when it comes to like my faith,
yoked.
you have to be equally yoked.
Absolutely.
That's number one.
Yeah, I can't be an atheist and be with someone who is a child of God, and they have a higher power.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're both very much in touch with our faith, and we have a relationship with God that's just on a different level. So
Yeah, because when you have a husband like who can, pray for you with you and like through
Yeah.
challenges that you have,
Yep.
that is so important.
Yeah, because I think for me, understanding when to pray and how to pray is just different. And
Yeah.
I think for me, I always prided myself on just knowing how to go to God. And there's no way. You don't have a way to go to God. It's the way. That's it.
Yeah, it is.
He is the way. Period.
Yeah, so that was like my just number one, and then my number two was have a good relationship with my child.
Okay.
And when I tell you, my son loves him some Kev,
As he calls me, G Kev.
G Kev. He loved him some G Kev. So I just love you guys' relationship that you have. And you came into it not trying to be like, not trying to replace
No.
his own father because,
No.
he has a father. His father is in his life, actively in his life. And so I think you took the approach of, I'm just like your big uncle.
You know what's
you
crazy?
can come to me, you
Yep.
can talk to me about stuff, we can be real about things, you can tell me what's going on, and you guys have that relationship.
And mom and dad, Delana and Rich, would have their own conversation with Keon, and they would say XYZ. I wouldn't rebut what they would say, but I would come from an uncle perspective, like, yeah, so this is what they was trying to say. They was trying to tell you to do X, Y, and Z, but if you do it this way, this will gain their trust.
Yeah.
So for him, he has a trust in me
He
and an
does.
understanding of I'm gonna respect you.
And a respect.
Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
gonna respect you, but I can come to you. I told him I like text him all the time, and I'll be like, "Hey man, anytime you want to talk to me, let's go talk. Let's get some wings. Let's play some pool. Whatever it is,
Mhm.
I want you to be able to tell me whatever it is that's going on in your mind because I'm not here to be a wedge. I'm here to be someone that's going to add to your life,
Yeah.
and that's what a bonus dad or a bonus mom. And you do that for my sons when I'm like ready to just pull out the belt. My wife is the one that's like, so your dad really loves you. And this is why you got your ass whipped today.
No, I don't say
And
that.
she don't say that, but this is why your
It's
dad
like-
was upset. This is why he wants you to do what's right. He wants you
Yeah.
to listen. And literally my sons are like, yeah, whatever Delana says, absolutely.
Well, and then you got to be able to, talk to kids on their level.
True. Yeah.
And I think we both do that when it comes to our
Both for
bonus
our
children.
kids. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I meet him where he's
Meet
most
them
comfortable.
where they are.
Yep, meet them where they are.
Yeah.
And I think that's been extremely helpful. So, together we've been able to create a great blended family.
Mm-hmm.
And what's one of the other things that we want to touch on when it comes to dating? We want to identify.
We do, but I just want to recap for anyone,
yes.
especially women who are single and who are dating with purpose to find their person. Write down 10 qualities that you want your husband to have
That's good.
so that you recognize and you identify those things
Yep.
when you meet that person. And if that's not what they're giving you,
Hey, there's more options.
throw up the deuces.
There's more options. And I'm not saying, it. So let's talk about this before we move on to the next level of dating and being dateable. Let's talk about people who've been in a situation that you've been dating for a long period of time and you are in a common law situation. I'm just being honest.
Wait, what? Sorry.
So if you've been dating for longer than 5 years,
The same person. And
The
not
same
anyone
person.
else? Okay.
essentially to you and that person, you guys are pretty much married. And I'm not here to tell you guys like, hey, change your situation and go get married today. But I'm saying identify the things that you want in that person.
Mm-hmm.
And if those things are not lining up to the things, if that person's not lining up to the things that you wrote down, then you might need to analyze where you're taking your relationship.
Yeah, but and I think for some people, their end goal is not to be married. Some people don't want.
I was just about to say that. That's why I didn't want to press marriage.
So I feel like marriage is not for everyone,
Agreed.
and not everybody wants to be married. That's something definitely that I have always wanted for myself.
Yeah.
Because that was just important, very important to me. So if I met someone and we had the conversation and, my goal was to eventually be married and they were saying, well, I don't really believe in that, or that's not what I'm trying to do. I just want to date. Then X, I know you're not the person for me.
And more importantly,
we can just be cool.
What she just said was that's dating on purpose for a purpose.
Yeah.
Because your purpose of dating is to be married.
Correct.
And that's what you have to identify in that person. So we're going into our, the next portion of what we're discussing is that's identifying a long-term partner in dating. Can you see long-term with the person that you're dating? And I can't tell you that from up front. You can't do that with one date.
Right.
Just like you said in your statistics, 8 dates before they are willing to enter into an exclusive relationship.
Yep.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Because some people use 3. Like the dating, I got 3 dates. And it's like, 3 dates is kind of like premature. That's like, listen.
But I'm like, what is the difference between 3 dates and 6 dates? Because I don't feel like that's
it's not a huge difference.
Not really.
So I think for me,
because what? Oh. So sorry. Oh no, Wind Down Wednesday has gone left.
Wind down, wind down. So yeah. Wind down has wind down.
I know, right?
So look, we wore black tonight for a reason, I guess.
Pause. Church finger. Keep talking to them. Let me go get something.
Take your headphones off.
Keep talking, sweetie.
So,
I'll be back.
Lord Jesus, we had a wind down Wednesday moment, and this is what you call wind down Wednesdays right here. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Wind Down Wednesdays. So yeah,
you have wine all over your face.
This is what we call. This is what we call This
is like a Kevin and Delana moment.
Yeah, this is a praise break right here. This is a moment. Okay. I wear all black.
I'm so glad you did. Look, I didn't need that wine. That was a sign.
That was God saying it's over. It's over.
It's done.
It's over. Okay. So
let's reel it back in.
What was we talking about, man?
Dating on purpose.
Dating on purpose. Yes. Identifying the long-term partner.
Yes.
All right. So identifying the long-term partner consists of being able to take a look at where you guys are in the dating process. Because there's a process of dating. And I'll talk about this more when I go into my Winspirations. But you got to know who you are.
Yeah, you do. And you have to know what you want.
Absolutely.
And be able to communicate that to that person.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's extremely important. Like, what are, how you sit down and have those conversations? So what are your long-term goals? So what are your short-term goals?
Listen, it's real though, because I'm gonna tell you why knowing who you are is important. Because you gotta heal your wounds. If you don't heal your wounds as a person who is dating, what happens is, and this is what I was gonna talk about before we had a Wind Down Wednesday, is you get to a place in your relationship or marriage and you have to start unpacking the bags that you brought to the marriage.
You do.
You don't have to wait that long. I think that's what we're really trying to say is unpack those things earlier. And in order to do that, you got to unpack that in therapy. You got to unpack that with someone who you can trust. I recommend therapy because that's just something that just works.
Right.
Because you're able to do it healthy and you're able to do it in a way where it helps you and you get tools.
Yeah, I agree. So I think the point is you don't necessarily have to start therapy when you meet a person.
True.
I think when you meet a person and because you have to be vulnerable, right? In the relationship with them. And so things start coming up like trauma from like your childhood or your past, other relationships, they come up and you might be triggered.
True.
So I think, to start while you are single and you're not dating, to kind of deal with those things.
Yeah.
To become whole.
Yep.
So you don't have to like bring in all those bags in your marriage or in your relationship.
Because you can't use your significant partner or significant other. I said significant partner. I combined it 2 words. You can't use your significant other to be like, they can handle everything that I bring to the table, because that person is not equipped to handle all of the stuff that you went through.
Yeah.
Because you can't handle everything that they went through.
Yeah, and that's not realistic.
And it's not realistic, and it's not fair.
It's not fair, and it's not realistic to put that expectation on your partner that I get to unpack. Really?
I had to do that.
That I get to unpack all the stuff that I have put in this bag since I was born, since childhood, and now I'm going to unpack it and dump it on you.
So it looks like this. When you get from vacation and you and your wife said, or you and your significant other, or you and the person you were dating said, we're going to have a budget when we go and we purchase certain things and you purchase certain things, but together we're only going to buy this. But what happens when you go on vacation and you purchased a whole bunch of stuff because you was like, I'm going to the store, I'll be back. But you had a whole other bag and you brought it back and you brought it to the hotel and then you start unpacking it and you showing her like, hey, look, disappointment.
Meanwhile, she's like, well, where did this come from?
Right. She's like, wait a minute. When did you have...
I didn't know that was there.
When did you have childhood trauma? When did you have... You're just unpacking all this stuff and you're like showing it to them and they're like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. This is too much.
Yeah, this is not what I signed up for. So number one, I think it's do the work.
Yes.
Especially if you know and you've identified that there are triggers that you have, there are things that, from your childhood that you know you need to deal with and possibly, get therapy for help or to become whole, because there's sometimes such a stigma on. There's nothing wrong with going to therapy.
It's really not.
It's nothing.
It's really not.
So in order for you to become a better person and to work on things to getting there, do the work. So
they're professionals for every professionals exist for a reason. We rely on professionals to help us with our weaknesses, and we rely on professionals to allow us to navigate through things with a lower level of trauma or issues. They can help you work through these things that are from your past by just being able to talk and being able to give you tools so you don't feel like, so it doesn't hurt as much.
Right.
It's literally like going to a doctor. A doctor tells you what to do to help you through a sickness so you can get better. It's not saying that it's easy. It's just saying that this is what is going to help you get to that level where you'll be healthy.
Right.
So as an emotional person and as a person who is, dealing with whatever you're dealing with mentally, that's what a therapist is for.
It is.
To help you navigate.
Yeah, and then I think the second thing is that you are communicating like your needs.
Yeah.
And your expectations.
In a healthy way.
In a healthy way.
Mm-hmm.
To the person that you're in a long-term relationship with.
That's true. That's true. Because when you're able to communicate it in a way where that person can hear you and respect it, but not only respect it, but receive it. Because you're coming to them in a way where it's healthy and they see that it's really helping you. So
Right.
we went on a tangent about identifying a
Yeah.
long-term partner. As you notice, being long-term partners, we do stuff like pour wine on each other, but we can move past that.
See how we move past that?
Yeah, we could just move past that because
And I think sometimes, just with that little hiccup
Yeah.
and how we were able to move on, I think sometimes we make stuff look easy.
So here's the crazy part. If you guys noticed through that demonstration with my wife, she's very much like that when a bad situation arises.
Yeah.
I'll sit in it. And I might act out and be like, I'm upset, but because I'm going through therapy and I've learned how to deal with it, she can be more of a solution person. Because guess what? She doesn't have to sit over here and coddle me and be like, are you okay? Are you good?
No.
No, she just went and got some
we're going
paper
to fix
towels.
this,
We're
and
going to fix it.
And we're going to move on.
And we're going to wash these clothes when it's over.
That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We're going to fix this and we're going to move on.
And keep it moving.
We're going to keep it moving.
And it's
And
not
it's
going to
all
be an
good.
issue. Exactly.
And
And
it's
I don't
all
have
good.
to think about it or whatever. So that's how it looks in our relationship, just so you guys can get a little peek in. You know, that's how it looks sometimes.
Yeah, but I think I do think that sometimes in relationships when you see these, couples and it's like couple goals and you see people on social media, and I think because they make it look easy, that does not mean that it is always easy.
No, it's not easy for us to do this.
There's a lot of work behind the scenes that go on.
No, we're doing marital counseling, and I'm doing
And we
personal
talk about that.
counseling.
We talk about that. So if you haven't heard episode
2.
episode 1, we talk about how do you know you've met the one. So if you
Yeah.
haven't listened to episode 1, go back and listen to it. And then 2, we talk about marriage maintenance, how we do monthly marriage therapy for our relationship.
It's a check-in.
Yeah. So it's a check-in,
Yep.
it's accountability, it's getting the tools and resources that we need to navigate our relationship.
Yeah, because we can't do this alone. Ultimately, that's the moral of the story. We
Yeah.
can't do it alone. So how do
So-
you leave? So how do you leave the dating scene?
Yeah. So you have entered
Enter the dating scene. Yep.
You have started to date with a purpose. You know what you want. You know what you're looking for.
You have identifying a
You
long-term
identified
partner,
your person.
and then how do you leave the dating
So
scene?
how do you exit
the dating scene?
the dating scene?
So for me, so this is a prerequisite for any man. If you're going to leave the dating scene clean and you're going to do it in a way that it's going to be effective, cut them off. That's
Ladies,
it.
Fellas, did you hear that?
Cut them off.
Cut 'em
That's what it
off.
looks like. I literally had to cut every single person off, even people who were just like mutual female friends, but there might have been some form of attraction at some point. I still had to cut them off because in my mind and for the fairness of my marriage, of where I was going in that time, I can't ask my wife to marry me or my girlfriend at that time to marry me if I'm still entertaining all of these other women who have my heart or who have my mind or who have my attention.
That's
I had
good
to
right there.
take the attention and direct it to one source. It's the same thing that you do with when God gives you a talent. If you know you can DJ, you can cook, you can whatever. What is it that God has given you that is your calling? She was my calling. So I had to focus on my calling.
Well, I think if you take it from that perspective of God has given you a calling. So, for example, you're a chef.
Yeah.
God has showed you that your calling, that's what you're doing. You're not going to waste your time trying to be a teacher,
That's
trying to be
true.
a firefighter,
That's true.
when you know you need to be
In the kitchen.
in the kitchen.
Yeah. Like my chef coach, she tells me, don't compromise your bread for your butter.
Mm. Yeah, that's good.
My bread is being a chef. My butter is being a people person. Don't try to be a people person and then compromise your bread.
Ooh.
That's the win.
But so let's talk about what does it look like, because you said, when you're leaving the dating scene, cut all ties
Cut
with
'em-
any other relationships.
Cut them off.
How do you do that? What does that look like?
So for me, it was a very simple situation. I had to just get rid of the numbers, and I had to some people I had to actually send text messages and say, unfortunately, at this time, I have found someone that I am serious about, and though maybe you and I have had some form of a connection, I don't want to mislead you, and I don't want to be unfair to her. So I want to give you the respect and give her the respect to let you know that this is the person that I am pursuing. However, I don't want to be disrespectful, but I want to let you know that this is why I'm going to move forward in this process. So it's letting that person know in a way where it's respectful. And some people you just have to just cut off. You just have to just not say
see,
nothing.
that would be me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really good with
You're not giving no
those
explanation.
explanations
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if we were not in a committed relationship,
Yeah,
exclusive
that's true.
relationship, I don't really owe you that.
I don't owe you that. That's true. Yep.
Like, I think, because I'm very honest, like, upfront about, like, how it's going to be. Like, if we're just dating for fun and I'm not looking to be exclusive or looking to have anything serious,
Yeah.
then, yeah, like, if I cut you off, like, I just cut you off.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I didn't have any relationships or situations where I felt like I had to let that person know I found somebody else. Don't reach out to me. Now, there was an ex who reached out to me, like, later on.
Yeah.
And I had to let him know, I have found someone and I'm in a relationship. Please do not contact me again. Thank you and goodbye.
She said that verbatim. Yeah.
I did.
So I think
because there are some people who, like, they're
Test.
friends with their exes.
True. Yeah. Yeah. That ain't happening. I'm sorry.
And I mean, everybody has their own.
Yeah.
they have
I'm
their
not
own
saying
things.
for everybody else, but for me, for you.
But for me and for him in that situation, it was a no.
Yeah, it's a no. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
There are certain
We don't
people
need to
who
be
are of the
friends.
opposite sex. That's a whole nother episode. Who we have connections, friendly connections with. That her and I both are more like, yeah, I want to keep in touch with this person or just let them know how I'm doing or whatever. But it will never go to the point of where we feel like we have to give them the courtesy to tell them anything. It's just more like, hey, this is just what it is.
Yeah. And
So.
if it was something new, like where you dated the person or you guys went out on dates or whatever, then I
Yeah.
think it is important that you cut that, you cut ties with that, just because you don't want it to get messy.
And for me, it's all about how my wife looks outwardly because, we go out, we do things. And if we go somewhere, I don't want you to ever feel uncomfortable if you're in a
It's
place.
just a respect thing.
Yeah.
I think it's just a respect thing.
That's what it boils
to where,
down to.
like, you shouldn't have, like, your exes or people that you went out with just,
Hanging
randomly
around. Yeah.
hanging around and, like, communicating with you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's important to, like, cut those things off.
So leaving the dating scene, cutting them off. I think we both agree to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think
For
that's
sure.
I think that's the easiest way to leave the dating scene, and then from there you have a clean slate.
Absolutely.
So
And be on the same page with your partner too,
true.
with your person. Like, let them, you guys will have that conversation. Hey, we've been, whether it's been 6 dates, 8 dates, 10, whatever the number is. When you reach a point where you're just like, hey, I'm really feeling you.
Yeah. And I think I did say that too.
Yeah, because that's the other thing. Like, how do you have that conversation?
How do you have the conversation to say, I'm ready to take it to the next level?
Yeah.
And I think for me, I was just more like verbal about like how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that was unusual to you, but it was also like intriguing too. And it was like, oh wow, he's feeling me. So
Mm-hmm.
we went into that lane with the expectation of, hey, this is how he feels.
Yeah.
So
I think so. In the beginning, I was just like, well, I think I need more time because I think it's too soon. Like, I
True.
don't want to rush,
Yeah.
especially you coming out of the situation that you were in.
Yeah.
So I was like, we can still date, but I want to slow it down a little bit and get to know you a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's how I felt in the beginning. But as time went on, I was like, okay,
Yeah. Trust.
we're doing this. Trust. 'Cause
Yeah.
You have
Trust.
to build trust over time. You
Absolutely.
Can't, yeah, that doesn't start like day one or date one.
So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been watching and you've been listening, we've been talking about Dateable. But now we reached the point of our episode where we're going to discuss, before we leave, Winspirations. So, what I want to say about Winspirations, I want you guys to take some expert advice. I'm going to talk to my people in the 30s. If you're dating in your 30s, I want you to do one thing. Know who you are. The shortest path to relational success is understanding yourself. That's what Moyo says. And I want you to also remember that you got to heal your wounds. Going to therapy for help with overcoming persistent trauma. If you don't heal, you don't begin the cycle through relationships. So understand and accept the wounds that follow you. And any unresolved emotional baggage can be projected onto your next partner. But watch this, and ruin your chances for a successful relationship. I have two more. Give up the games. Don't fall into game plan traps. Be clear who you want. Be clear about what you want. And be upfront and honest about what we want, for fear of scaring someone away. Learn and understand your attachment styles. To understand why you don't want, or why you do what you do when dating, the better you is understanding yourself, the easier it will help a potential partner to understand you. So you can remove any barriers keeping you from a healthy romantic attachment. Don't be afraid to dig into your self-awareness.
I like that one.
And most importantly, be open. Make sure you aren't approaching dating with a closed mind. Some people get hung up on finding someone who fits a predetermined type, and they miss out on their ideal mate. So don't limit yourself to a dating pool with a bunch of superficial requirements, such as tall or handsome or thick and beautiful. Open your mind.
You added that last part.
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's our episode. I mean, for me that was like that was exactly what we needed, and
That was good.
I think for so many people they're going to get help.
Yeah. Dating is real.
Yeah.
So we hope that those tips, inspiration, help anyone who's out here in the dating scene.
Yeah.
Good luck to you finding your person.
Good luck.
Yeah, but it can happen.
And it's not we're not saying that in a bad way either. We're saying that in a way of like, for real, like good luck. And this is episode 7.
Episode 7.
Dateable.
Pillow talk.
With the Winstons. So we thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you guys for listening. We appreciate you guys for watching. Those on YouTube, those on Facebook, please share this with someone. And we appreciate you guys like really, truly, truly like pouring into what we do. And this is something that is for, the future. So
Yeah, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, it's all we do is Winston. We're on YouTube, so yeah, you can get updates anytime we post a new episode, which is weekly.
Yes.
So yeah, make sure you subscribe, and you can follow us on Instagram if you're not following at All We Do Is Winston.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's
So-
and it's Kevin and Delana with Pillow Talk with the Winstons. So thank you guys for listening, man. We really appreciate it. So we're gonna ride it out.
Peace.
Peace out.
What do I really want for myself?
Because you brought things to the table that I never thought that I could get out of a relationship.
We keep it real over
Yeah.
here.
What do you believe the purpose of marriage is? Welcome to Pillow Talk, ladies and gentlemen.
With the
Winstons. Hey.